Let's now talk about adjacency pairs, which are the pairs of two utterances which usually in general terms complement each other. The second one is always a response of the first one. Adjacency pairs are an important element of conversation analysis, and in a traditional conversation analysis they inform us about the organization of a conversation, and in this way this might convey a lot of meaning. Adjacency pair, as I said earlier, may be seen as two related utterances by two different speakers. I mean, in order to create an adjacency pair, there has to be more than one speaker, at least two speakers who are participating in a conversation, and both utterances in a pair should have come from two different speakers. And as I said also earlier, that the second one is usually considered to be the response of the first utterance. If you look at the example here, participant A says, "You left the light on," and the B says, "It wasn't me." The second one, "It wasn't me," is a response to the first statement. And this, in a typical adjacency pair classification, is a kind of adjacency pair which involves a sequence of complaint and denial. The first one has complained that you left the light on, and the second one has denied it. No, it wasn't me. So this is a typical example of adjacency pair. Adjacency pairs have 5 important properties which I'll read in front of you. They consist of two utterances. Single utterance cannot make an adjacency pair. A first part and a second part. The two parts are spoken by two different speakers. There has to be two different speakers. The first and second parts belong to specific types. For example, question and answer, or greeting and greeting. We have different patterns of adjacency pairs according to their function. For example, question and answer is one function. If one part of a pair is question, the second part has to be an answer. If one part is greeting, the other part should also be greeting, because greetings are usually complemented with each other. So both the first and the second parts belong to specific types or the functions of the pairs. The form and content of the second part depends on the type of the first part. Yes, because they are closely associated with each other, and the second one is the response of the first one, then the form of the second one has to be decided by the first one. For example, if first one is a question, the second one has to be an answer, and it has to be in form of a statement which shows answer or reply to it. If it is answered in a question way, or another question is put, then probably it would not be considered an answer to the first question, to the first utterance. And the last important trait of adjacency pair is that given that a speaker has produced the first part, the second part is relevant and expectable as the next utterance. So adjacency pairs usually consist of expected pairs of utterances. There is a list of some types of adjacency pairs. We have question and answer, we have greeting. Question is answered, is always answered. We have answer as a pair. Greeting is followed by a greeting. When we say Assalamu alaikum, it is always followed by another greeting, Wa alaikum assalam. Hello is greeted by hi or hello. We have invitation, and invitation has acceptance or refusal or non-acceptance, right? So there are two options when we have first part as an invitation or offer. The second part would be acceptance or non-acceptance. This is general organization of this adjacency pair. Similarly, we have complaint. Complaint is followed by an apology or denial. You might apologize for whatever is being complained about, or you might deny it, that I didn't do it. There are summons, and summons are followed by responses. Then request is followed by acceptance or non-acceptance. Then we have promise or thanks, and it is followed by acknowledgement. Then we have goodbye, goodbye is usually followed by goodbye. These are only some types of adjacency pairs. However, in most of detailed conversation, we say that not all first parts immediately receive their second parts. And it's not possible in some conversations that if you ask a question, its answer would come immediately. Some other things might intervene, and we call them insertion sequence. For example, you ask a question, the person you have asked a question might ask another question in response to the question you have asked, and you would probably answer that question, and then your question would be answered later on. So there could be other insertion sequences involved before you get the answer of the first part, which actually initiated the discussion. The sequence will then take the form of question 1, and then we immediately, instead of answer 1, Q in front of your screen shows question, and A here stands for answer. So the question 1, instead of getting answer 1, is getting question 2 in response. Then we have answer 2 first before we get the answer 1. So we can see that the answer of the first question is delayed till the end. Let's see an example here which might be more clear. It's a discussion between an agent and client. And the agent is of a travel or traveling agency. Agent asks the client, do you want the early flight? This is question 1. Client says, what time does it arrive? Instead of answering that yes, I want this, or denying that I don't want this, he or she is asking a question. What time does it arrive? This is question 2. And then agent says 9:45. This is answer of the question which has been asked in form of question 2 by the client. And then client answers, yeah, that's great. That means I'm happy with it. So a question which was put by the agent in the beginning of the conversation, its answer was delayed till the end. An insertion sequence which comes in between the question and answer, or any other sequence of adjacency pairs, is something which comes in between. And the number of insertion sequences can be infinite. But looking at the limitations of human memory, we might assume that the number would not increase to the acceptable range of human memory. If it goes beyond that, then there would be a conversational failure. Delay in responses usually marks potential unavailability of the expected answers, and we might say that it represents distance between what is expected and what is provided. These are some of the aspects of conversational analysis which also help us to understand it in detail. So adjacency pairs can be seen one essential element of traditional conversation analysis.